As a whole, the Predator franchise has had many peaks and valleys throughout its filmography, which is to say it's been one big valley since 1987.
Shit happens.
With each new movie, there is a focus on making a series of events that happen together in a sequence, but there's hardly any connective tissue on a thematic level to make anything substantial or meaningful. Not that the original Predator movie was what you would call meaningful.
Knock, knock.
But the attention to detail, filming on location, and the framing involved in the camera work helped to stitch together a really memorable movie. And the genre shifts from action to horror to a perfect marriage of the two is so smooth and flawless it harkens to an almost Spielberg level of balance between action and horror.
What happened? I saw it. You saw what? I saw it.
Ever since 1987, many have tried to make lightning strike twice. But only now, 35 years later, do we realize it wasn't lightning we needed, it was thunder. Amber Midthunder's character of Naru undergoes a substantial but understated arc that's underlined by the visuals of the movie. My goal with this video is to highlight two specific instances of visual storytelling in Prey, where representations of the main character's arc, as well as thematic parallels, are illustrated to the audience without it being shoved into their face in a way that would cause blunt force trauma. The movie's strength is in its visuals overall, and while there are plenty of aesthetically, surface-level pleasing moments, I want to shed light on the importance of the story aspect in the visuals, and pay respect to a film that honors the idea that film is a visual medium where a picture is worth 1,000 words. While on her self-imposed hunt, Naru wanders into a field and discovers a herd of buffalo stripped of their skin. The Predator is infamous for skinning its prey ever since the first film, and in a previous scene, the Predator was shown to be hunting the wildlife of this area. The audience recognizes this and puts two and two and two together. Ah, the Predator did this. However, this turns out to be a misdirect, as Naru discovers a cigar, which bewilders her. And now, we as the audience are either unsure who's responsible for this, or, based on the visual evidence at play, they've concluded that a third European party's involved. And this sets up the reveal of the fur trappers later on in a rule of threes manner. First, the setup. The dog gets stuck in a trap that's strange and foreign. Then the reminder when Naru finds a cigar, which is equally strange and alien to her. And then the third, the payoff, another trap, coupled with the reveal of who was behind all of it the whole time. There's another layer to this moment as well, as the Predator arrives shortly after Naru and removes a small flower that Naru had placed on a buffalo carcass after saying a prayer for the departed souls of her animal brethren. These two simple acts demonstrate a contrast in their personalities. Naru has no personal connection to these particular animals. She didn't name them, she didn't raise them, she doesn't know them. But she does not need to know them to show respect for them and feel compassion for their seemingly grisly end. On the other hand, the Predator only shows respect for those that can satisfy its own need for the hunt in its self-indulgent, prideful ways. With this simple act of placing and removing the prayer flower, they are illustrating that the Predator's respect must be earned, while Naru's respect comes unconditionally. Unless you try to kill her dog, and then the gloves come off. Why did they try to kill the dog? Each vignette of animals hunting each other begins the same way, with the prey in the foreground and their respective hunter in the background. First, it's with a mouse and a snake, and then later, it's a coyote and a rabbit. These scenes do show us the very surface level information that the Predator is hunting and escalating up the food chain in search of a challenge. However, I believe there is more subtext being fed to the audience just through the visuals without them even realizing it. An important detail to remember here is that the alignment of the animals is the same both times. And yes, I know that these sorts of reveals are very common in movies. They've even been in previous Predator movies. But what fascinates me, and why I believe these to be conscious, deliberate, artistic decisions, is how they use it the third time. In the first two instances, the hunter is in the background and the hunted is in the foreground. And then the third time it's used is in the final confrontation with Naru and the predator. This is another excellent use of the rule of threes, and I believe this is intentional not just because it's done 3 times, but also because the orientation of the characters in this shot is literally reversed from the first 2 times. It's telling you that their roles have swapped. The predator is in the background still, but he is no longer the hunter. The meaning has changed. Their roles in relation to each other has changed. The snake and the coyote did not hunt the mouse and the rabbit for pride or for the thrill or to prove a point to other animals. They hunted to live. They hunted to survive, which is exactly the lesson that Naru's mother tried to teach her at the start of the movie. This shot tells you, with no words, that Naru is up in another tree like last time, but this time she has learned the difference between hunting to prove a point and hunting for survival. And in so doing, the hunted has become the hunter, and the predator is now the prey. Thank you guys for watching this. I actually had a lot of thoughts about Prey in general, but I just wanted to touch on some of the ones that I felt really resonated with me, and simultaneously I felt like there were things that were either being misunderstood or being passed over in conversation. I just wanted to spark some discussion about some of the visuals and the importance of visuals, even in something as simple as an action movie. That there can still be some kind of artistic choice, decision, there can still be craftsmanship in something as simple as a Predator movie. If you liked this video, I am working on a Godzilla vs. Kong dissertation that's going to be at least 40 minutes. And I have a breakdown dissertation of the 2021 Mortal Kombat reboot and how it compares and contrasts to the 1995 and 1997 movies. So those are still in the works. They're going to be a ways out, but you could just save yourself the time and trouble and just subscribe now so that they're ready for you when they come out.